Hey, this is Nick. He builds bikes at Backyard Bike Shop. I'm Jimmy. I film him when he does that occasionally. We're going to do a new style of video, or a couple of new videos, where we are going to talk through some of the decisions made in the bike build videos that I make with Nick. The original video that we're about to show you can be found. I'll put it up on the screen somewhere or other, so you can just go and watch that if you want. Otherwise, we'll get started on this and talk through some of the decisions made on what was our first ever video made, and also Nick's very own bike.
It's just still riding, still loving.
Right, so let's get the video started. Classic intro clip. Back when we used to do it, this probably was winter because it's actually dark.
Dark, yeah. Probably like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right, so your bike is
J.Guillem Atalaya titanium frame set, gravel bike specific, built with SRAM, a mix of SRAM and Zipp components, all electronic. I basically picked everything specifically for what I wanted to do with it.
It is a proper gravel bike.
Yeah, I think gravel's quite a broad term these days, but yeah, essentially doing more extreme stuff, almost borderline mountain biking.
Yeah, I would describe it as a mountain bike with drop bars and drop bar geometry.
Yes, mountain bike. Yeah, we as a shop now actually starting to use the word all-road a lot more for people using 42mm tyres and things like that.
What do you class as all-road?
Something where it looks more towards a road bike, but you can still do quite a few of the dirt trails and wagon ways, and then gravel we kind of going more with muddy trail centre kind of style.
So not gravel.
I'm not saying this is a great thing, but it's just not gravel. Just because for a long time all our gravel bikes were just really extreme. We're getting more people now like coming in looking bikes where they want to ride road rides almost as a winter bike. Switch between things. You've got the option of riding a bit of off-road things, waskily away like you and Francis do all the time. Yeah. Basically your bike's an all-road bike.
Wait, which one?
Cannondale.
Right, yeah. Right, so we haven't really got to much thus far. You've cut the fork down.
Yes.
Measured it up first. So where we've done the other builds as well, you usually basically build the front end to measure the fork for cutting, deconstruct everything again, cut it, and then everything starts going in. Put it back together,
yeah. Obviously to measure, you can't just measure with tape measure. You have to put it together, see where it's going to go first, then measure from there. Take it apart, cut it. On this one, actually, I feel that I was doing everything on my road bike geometry. Yeah. And that is a mistake.
This was your first gravel bike, wasn't it?
Yes, and my second gravel bike, but first proper. Sorry, I'm getting all started. Proper one that I built to have for quite a long time, and the more we started riding, realized that I wanted to be slightly higher up and slightly bring the bars closer to me. So I actually switched from that as a 110mm stem to a 90mm stem, and I added an extra centimeter in height as well.
Right.
But obviously these are things you learn with
time and experience.
Time and experience, yeah.
That is a hell of a cassette.
Yes, 1050 on that one. It's just, at the time, I really prioritized top end versus climbing as well. Yeah. So on this one I went for a 46 ring on the front. 1046 gives you about the same as a 5011. Right. So road bike gearing. But then obviously 4650 gives you the same as like a mountain bike, well not mountain bike triple, but gravel gearing for climbing. So a 0.9 ratio. Since we've realized the top end is not that important. When do you need the 5011 gravel wise? Yeah. When you hit 60 kilometers an hour in a descent, just tuck in, stop handling.
Well, yeah, you just.
So I've now actually switched to a 42, and then I run a 1044 cassette at the moment. Right. So it gives me slightly tighter ratios, but then you've got the options. That's a mullet build.
What's a mullet build?
Mullet builds road bike gears. Road bike levers and brakes.
Yep.
A road chain set.
Yep.
And then a mountain bike rear mech, mountain bike cassette, and then obviously for SRAM you have to run the not obviously, but for SRAM mountain bike you have to run a mountain bike a chain if you're running a mountain bike cassette. If you're running one of the road cassettes, you have to run the road chain.
Yeah, got you. So here you've built some of the bike up, put the wheels on, taken it off the stand to get your shifters lined up correctly and neatly, and then it goes back in the stand, and then continue with the build.
If you handlebars stuff, when you put a bike in a stand, you can't really see if your handlebars are level, angle that you want to put your levers on.
Yeah.
It's quite important because when you cut your hoses, you have to pre-measure. You don't want them too long or too short. So when your bike's in the stand, it's an angle, and if your bars, levers are in a completely wrong place and you've cut your hoses, put the bike down afterwards, you have to move your levers back to kind of being level or 1 degree up, depending on what your preference is.
Makes sense.
You could have cut them the wrong way. So it's just best to kind of take the bike out of the stand with wheels on, set it up to be roughly where you want it to be. Gives you a better starting point. You'll see in some of the future videos we do with fully internal cable routed bikes out where the hoses go through the headset, we actually cut a bit of extra just because it allows you, when we have to service a bike, when we have to cut the hoses, that we can reuse them instead of having them too short after the first headset service. But we'll get more into that into one of the future videos.
This is a bit I always find interesting because it seems like an odd thing, but it makes sense. You end up cutting the hosing and then putting all of the new little bits back in. So this bit goes in first, which presumably, is it like a valve or what is it?
That's a barb. So it's to connect the hose up to the lever. You've got a barb that goes in, and then that's the olive being fitted over the top.
Barb and olive.
When that goes into the lever and we're tightening it up, that actually crushes the olive onto the hose. So it fuses it in. It just makes it like it's a watertight seal.
Right.
Well, not watertight, like hydraulic fluid tight.
Yeah.
So it just stops it from leaking. So if you do that skew or wrong, on Shimano ones, they're not actually threaded on. So if you were to fit them incorrectly, you'll have your lever bleeding fluid out the side or into the actual hose in between the casing and the hose.
I think that happened on my GRX. So shifters, bars and shifters are on onto the bottom bracket. I remember the time. This is like some special, is it waterproof stuff or something? Really?
It's just waterproof grease, yeah. We use several, you can use one grease.
It's not just Vaseline, it looks like Vaseline.
Similar. It's just thicker.
It is Vaseline, isn't
it? Vaseline. James left it in the shop. It's waterproof grease, just in the northeast, everything gets wet, it just lasts a bit longer.
Yeah.
Because your cups start creaking on bottom brackets caused by several things. Firstly, dirt getting in there, either it's worn out or if your cups go dry. Because as you put force through it, it just slightly moves inside the frame.
Right.
And that causes a creaking effect. With the waterproof grease, it just seals it better. It takes much longer for that to happen. Surprisingly with that, we've not actually had a creak, even when the bottom bracket on that one's collapsed. Still didn't creak, didn't make a noise. I just noticed that it was worn out while cleaning the bike.
Right.
Which is quite good, because generally threaded BBs are better than press fit. But that's the one bike we've not had any problems with.
You changed the BB now, haven't you? You've gone fancy, haven't you?
I've gone through for a ceramic speed one,
right? Just
because they give you a lifetime warranty. So it means
but you're paying for it up front.
Pay for it up front, but it just means that when they wear out, well, they don't wear out. I take them out, I service it, put it back in. It's just less wastage for me.
Yeah.
I had a power meter on this as well. No, I've taken it off. I've switched to the Quarq was really nice, but none of my other bikes had a power meter. We've now switched to Garmin rally pedals.
Oh, have you?
So it just means I can swap the pedals between different bikes.
Yeah.
And have power consistently with all of them. So that's the mountain bike rear mech XX1.
Yeah.
Really good for the reason that it's got like an automatically disengages if you. I've done a few times where I've kicked it.
Right.
So when you hit something or hit a bump or a rock or anything like that, or drop the bike, the mech disengages itself so it doesn't bend the mech hanger.
Right.
Or damage as easily. Gets a few scratches and things.
I like that it's very black.
Yeah. Well,
it's like super stealthy, isn't it?
The mountain bike ones are quite nice because they all look almost exactly the same.
Was that a black chain as well?
Black chain as well, which was a mistake.
I'm assuming you don't have that anymore.
No. Problem with the black chain, and I swapped the black jockey wheels out as well, is that they, as nice as it looks when you first get it, you don't know if your chain's clean.
Yeah.
Sounds really so everything now I want silver. So when I clean it, if it's not silver again,
that's the benefit of it, isn't it?
I'm not cleaned it properly.
You don't have to clean it.
But it's durability wise, having a clean drivetrain is key to everything. The rest of the bike, I'm not really bothered if you don't clean it, but drivetrain wise. So as nice as that looked, I've switched to everything silver so that it shines up.
So,
dropper post.
All the rage now. Everyone's got them.
When I first
on road bikes, it seems.
When I first got this, I was worried about the weight because it is heavy.
Yeah.
But I've since broken that one, my own fault. And I've had about a month now where I've been riding without one, and it's killing me.
Why?
Quite a few steep, really steep, because we do very mountain bikey stuff, and it's road bike geometry to an extent.
Yeah.
You're very far over the front of the bars. So when you try and descend down really steep banks at over 25% gradients, you can't sit back. So the risk of falling forward is just really difficult to get over the back.
Can you not do what most people do on a road bike and just like do a Marco Pantani and just stick your ass over the back wheel?
I did that about 4 weeks ago. Got to the bottom and there was a little ditch, and I got into the ditch, tried to get, and I couldn't get back on, and I hit my chest off the saddle. And for up until about last week, still was hurting when I was coughing and laughing. So you could, but I mean, it's a luxury.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't give it up for anything.
I guess that's it. You know, you were historically a proper roadie.
Yes.
Going into this, like a proper racing roadie, and your opinion on what's important has changed.
It's completely. Yeah,
so I would say now. To be fair, you used to say it to me all the time, but even more so, weight means absolutely nothing.
Yes, because I've got a frame bag on there with probably about 4 kilos worth of just random stuff in it. Like when I say random, I mean sunscreens. I've got snacks. I pack snacks for a week in there, just so I've got a raincoat, random tools to actually fix other people on the rides bikes, stuff that I would never need on my bike. Just because. And
then charge them because you've got a bike
obviously,
shop. Yeah. You've got a card machine in there.
PayPal.
Oh, actually, you were saying this is actually something important with dropper post, isn't it?
We ordered that dropper post without thinking. Obviously, being more of a road bike shop is not something we do a lot, and the geometry is different. But when you're getting dropper post, you need to be careful. You need to see how much seat post is sticking out, because depending on the drop, it might not fit into your frame set.
Yeah. And then you're compromising either your position or you're trying to get.
Lucas rides with the 6'7", so he's got a 175mm drop because his seat post is about a meter long. The Zipp stuff was quite good as well. Specifically picked those bars with the slight flare originally, which is a bit of a yeah, Bruce.
I think that is the end of the video with Bruce to finish. Sorry, you're saying the bars?
Flared bars is a contentious point because personally I feel it came out originally because people had like sleeping bags or tents in
the
roll big
saddle roll bags,
in front of in between their bars, and you couldn't shift your gears with Shimano levers.
I have ridden a bike with normal drops with a bar bag, and it is the worst thing.
But now with electronic gears, you don't need that because you just click a button, so you can actually run. And I find it strange. I see loads of videos, people descending down steep stuff and saying the flared bars give them more stability, but that makes no sense. Why would you want to be over the front of your bike going down something steep? You want to be higher up on the hood, or even on the tops you could be if there were brakes. So it's a bit of a bizarre. So we don't actually do flared anymore. Yeah, so if I was to get a new handlebar, I'd go just normal, at most 5 degrees.
There you are. So that is the first video wrapped up. There's loads and bits and pieces in there that we haven't covered, but for example, your taping method, but you use the same taping method in all the other videos. So we can like, for example, that's an example of something we can dig into on another video. So we'll just wrap this up here. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, let us know. Like, comment, all of the usual stuff. See you on the next one. Thank you.